Sup, freaks? This is Trinity Tafari.
And Amiri Tafari.
And this is Tafari Talk Part 2. You know, we have some amazing things coming forward. Let's get juicy.
Let's talk about it. I know you asked her what was her best or favorite. I will say definitely the Dungeon House one. And honestly, all of them have had some special, like, amazing characteristics.
Yeah.
But just the whole vibe. Like, I would say the Dungeon House one, but like I said, that was the first one that was a departure from so it was something new.
Yeah.
And then the first one ever, because that was something that we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah,
you know, I had
the VIP experience.
The VIP experience. And
then I had some fun that continued on for a while.
That's why it was hard to tighten.
So,
I know.
There's a couple ways to keep it candid, y'all. And she found some interesting ones.
As our bestie was saying in the background just now, she said, from Keep It Candid to Kinky Game Night, it's our best friend who got us literally tied into this beautiful siren.
She is, yes. That is how we became sirens, because our beautiful bestie had found this amazing curated experience and was like, yo, you guys have never seen some shit like this. She's like, because she knows we were already into kink.
We Keep It Candid though before it was even Kinky Game Night.
And you know what's crazy? Like I said, and you know, and us two as well as us three explored like a lot of the like LA kink scene, and we're like looking for those kind of type of things. And one of the main complaints, without knowing your thing existed, was like, hey, there's not enough people of color. There's not enough people I'm attracted to.
Exactly.
And it's like, yeah, I'll do the play, but it's like, not saying every time you want to be turned on to do something, but sometimes you want to feel like I'm turned on enough that I would do something with these fucking people.
There was a void
that
needed to be filled.
And you were feeling it, and I feel like she's
especially from a younger perspective, because like we've been in different kinks,
underground,
here and there, different things, exactly, underground here and there. But also, I'm gonna say in those scenes, we're always the youngest. We're always the youngest,
and that's why the fact that Kinky Game Nights crowd is black and millennial. It's black and millennial. That is
even young.
That's a gold mine.
Even like very like
we got sprinkles of other generations too, from the older to the younger. But like I would say, it's highly millennial.
Yeah.
And that is a blessing. That is what we're looking for. Because a lot of us are just as millennials coming into our awakening age and being like, I like this, I whatever. But we want to see other people who are like in our demographic, who we're attracted to, who like, we're like, you like this, I like this. Like, let's explore, let's go. And you've cultivated that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Especially because there's so many restrictions and rules that go into that. Once you have like an actual legal kink space that you operate, it's a lot of rules that go into that.
That's true, because there's all these rules that they like to govern sexuality with, but they don't like to govern all the other shit that's important
I do think that some of it is for like safety too. So you have to
which I
about,
appreciate.
Like, strip clubs and stuff like that. Even with strip clubs, like, you have to have a very particular license in order to in order for them to be able to sell alcohol, and that's why like certain strip clubs, like there's no nudity, and that's because it's illegal for them. They don't have the proper licensing for that. That's because there is a dangerous component that comes with alcohol and nudity being in the same space.
I agree.
You know, so I think that some of it is. It is important to have those type of restrictions, only because it is from a place of them recognizing that a lot of people cannot govern. Not even that they cannot, but they like statistics show us that where there's alcohol and nudity, there is a possibility and risk of a violation.
And that is where, as a sex educator, a sex or kink or body positive facilitator, as someone like that, you have to always do your very best to be aware of the environment, the consequences, and what's going on, and try to curate the safest environment for both, you know, the patron and the curator, the person who's giving the experience, you know? So it's like, and you are, you know, the person at the top of that. So it's like, wow, sex is fun, oh, blah, 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 it sells itself. Like you said, there's this component where it's like, you do have to be very stringent. You have your sanctions, you have your things you have to follow, and you have to just have an awareness of at each
You
moment
are
of
responsible for
people.
every person
You're
in the space.
responsible. And it's like, imagine like a club where you're responsible for what these motherfuckers do with clothes on.
Yeah.
You're definitely feeling responsible of what these motherfuckers do. They're drunk, they're naked, they're seeing all these things they desire, but like you have to still curate spaces that are like safe, you know?
Exactly. And I do think that having like that legal component there is what keeps people accountable
Facts.
to that.
Facts.
I do think you have to have a balance with that.
Totally. Okay. So that being said, I kind of feel like we should cascade into what your like. I know at a point, you know, because we've seen you through different stages of this. I mean, even when you had come back and you were ready to welcome Sirens in and everything, you had kind of gone through a stage of like evolution and was like, okay, I'm learning different things about business and my trade and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And you came back like, boom, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
And was killing it. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
But it's like, that being said, I guess we want to know another, how do I say, another component for like how you, I guess, have now gone into your vetting system, given that, like, you know, we were saying that there's a beautiful freedom of this space, but there's also all the things that are like what you to protect freedoms, the different things that like as the curator of the curators, you have to like be aware of and like, you know, whatever. So I know you've gone into a vetting system and evolved into that since, you know, we've seen Kinky Game Night evolve. So I guess tell us a little bit about
the EVE vetting system.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about your
energy system.
Yeah, your vetting system and like, you know, just like how that came in and like, you know, the importance, like how you work that, you know, that shit. So
that's a good question. I would say doing Kinky Game Night for 3 years definitely showed me that the thing is that like events in general are like illusions of freedom, right? Like it's not actual freedom, but it does kind of create like this imaginary playground of freedom. So when you're talking about, and the reason why I say that is because multiple freedoms cannot exist in the same space. It's just not possible, right? If you have a vegan and a non-vegan, well, those two cannot truly exist in the same realm of freedom because, because a vegan who believes that animals, you know, just giving an analogy, but a vegan who believes that animals should not be killed and eaten, and they are an important part of the ecosystem that has nothing to do with humans' dietary needs. They cannot possibly stand to be around a person who eats meat because you're going against their literal belief, you know? So it's like it's a conflict of interest. So the same thing is true with any space, including kink spaces, you know, like people have like different ideas of what freedom is. And some ideas of freedom to some people will be disturbing to other people. That's just the reality of it. So the elite vetted energy system was created just to recognize that, okay, you have to be particular with what type of freedom, what space of freedom you're trying to create. Because at the end of the day, you cannot create freedom for all people. And if you strive to, you're going to create freedom for nobody. And you're just going to create chaos because it doesn't really exist. It's
true.
It's not able to. It's not just the reality of it. You know, you can market
it's the reality of duality. You know, like we were watching this like Dave Chappelle thing earlier or whatever. And it was kind of talking about, and it was very profound, you know, of course, like if you can get everyone to like focus on one thing, you know, kind of thing, like you will negate kind of the logical response and like tap into the emotional response, you know, and those emotional responses can actually be juxtaposed. They can be like, hey, I'm tapping into like, I really fuck with this. Or I tap into, I really don't.
Yeah.
But the logic doesn't
you
even
know?
matter at that point. Whether you fuck with it or you don't is on
especially
a core
in, like,
level.
Mob, crowd, things like that responds.
Yeah.
So it's like, exactly. So it's like, you know, it doesn't matter, not even that. We could have juxtaposed ideas and we may not agree, but we will feel very strongly about that at that point. And we will...
And the more passionate you are, though, and the more that they're on opposite sides of the spectrum, the more there can be, like I said, a discomfort.
Exactly.
Right. So that way it can and it cannot exist in the same space. Like we could talk about it, like when you talk about de-tabooing stuff.
Right.
And, you know, that's been one of our missions too, you know?
you wouldn't
to
want to
de-taboo things,
necessarily
but
be
like
in the same space.
no, but no, exactly. No, I get that exactly.
Oh no, yeah, I'm
like
agreeing
maybe
with
for
you.
talk,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. I was
Right.
about to say, yeah, maybe for talking about it, different things like that. But
And
like you
it's
said, in the same
easy for
event
us
space,
to
that
talk
freedom
about it,
cannot fully exist
but it's
while
different
that
when it's
freedom
your
is
actual
fully
reality.
respected. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
like if
I
my
could talk
freedom to
about most
not.
things that I'm not. That
Really,
it
like, hardcore
exactly.
attached to.
It's a little theoretical. It's
Yeah,
like
it
it
might
becomes
feel
a
like it's
discussion,
like
but if it's deep to your core,
exactly. It's like just my right to see things that do appeal to me as my right to not see things that don't appeal to me. They both exist, but in certain spaces, one will be disrespected. One will be like, I'm sorry, don't be in this space if you don't want to see this thing, because both of these freedoms, like you said, cannot exist in this space for the full safety of this to exist.
just for the full safety.
For the full safety of this to exist,
but like
that cannot exist.
Only one will feel safe enough to fully exist.
Right.
And that brings you back to like Animal Kingdom, survival of the fittest. Like the person with the strongest fight response is going to be the one to dominate the culture. And you see that even in just like mainstream culture and all those things. So a lot of the elite vetted energy system came about because I was just like, okay, well, you realize it. You realize that like, okay, what type of space are you trying to create? Because they're very different. Like you can have a niche space. You have like different type of niche spaces. You have some kink spaces where there's no interactive play allowed. It's completely skill set centered. And a lot of these spaces, no alcohol is even allowed, because they want people to be very sober. You have other spaces that are lifestyle centered, and they're looking like, that kink stuff, they're not into it. They want the playroom and the playroom only. You have other people who are just body positive, like they just want a space where they can sensually expand themselves. You can see that with like spaces like Lizzie Jeff or Moonflower, where it's a very sensual vibe, but it's not kinky or is it play friendly, but it's very, very sensual. The energy is very sensual.
Right, of
So
course.
you have these different spaces, and the type of person who will feel free in those spaces are very different. Now, can that person exist in different spaces? Yes. But will they be drawn to a particular space? Yes, based on what it is that they're looking for that will make them feel as though they're free. So my vetted system came about because I was like, well, let me niche this into the type of tribe that feels the most in alignment with myself and my own definition of freedom. So that's how that kind of came about. And it's just like I said,
that's awesome. And I will say though, while all freedoms can't coexist all in the exact same space, you know what I mean? I think you do a good job of allowing multiple freedoms at least to exist in the same space.
Without any extremities.
Without too much extremity. Exactly.
No overlap.
So I love that. But I'm sorry, we have to go a little extreme because you did not answer what you feel like was your like craziest or funnest
favorite?
My favorite
Kinky Game Night.
I don't know if I have one.
You have to have one. Ain't no motherfucking way.
Which one did you have the most fun at? Fuck it.
So I'll tell you. No, but I'll tell you why mine would be biased though.
Is the one in Dallas, huh?
But
Dallas,
no. But I'm telling you.
Wait,
the reason why. So because there's two parts of that discussion. So one would be, what do I think that my audience enjoyed the most, and that's based on the functionality of the space.
We can say both. How about that? You can say wait.
I'm asking, what do you?
No, that is what we were asking, but I understand that question. So how about tell us both? Say what you did.
Gosh, one that I went home
audience
to.
First.
Audience. I think the experience that probably got the most positive audience feedback would be it's a tough one.
Because I know. That's what I'm saying. I know that one.
Yeah, you brought that up. That's not what I was asking. I was asking what you like. She thought that was easier for a second. Then she realized, oh no.
Okay, I just focused on what I.
Okay, all right, fuck it. Because what we really do want to know is what we really want to know is what was your personal favorite, funnest experience.
So, to be honest with you, mine would actually be the December 18th experience, the 2-in-1. And the reason why I like that one is because I like the separate. I discovered the separation of the two experiences, and I realized that separating cherry and separating people by labels really changed the experience a lot. So just from like that aspect of things, it showed me like, wow, this brings about a different experience.
Like you were saying, some people are here for body positivity. Some people are here they want the playroom.
Helps you
some people are here for
separate that. And that's the thing about it, is they're tied into the same with me, because the better the functionality is, the more that I can actually just chill and enjoy the experience.
You want to know something?
Too focused
December 18th was actually my honorary third.
Oh, I already know, because that's where you really mingle with your boo thing.
Oh, God.
I know.
Please.
The newbies from people who are a little bit more advanced.
Exactly.
It gave me like statistical data. Like, oh, okay. So it's like very valuable. But I'm like, oh, this is how I become relaxed. This is how I don't gotta be running around trying to figure stuff out.
Be like, you having fun. Also, you having fun. Like,
because they're looking for different
areas.
You know, inside of the kickback.
And we have both.
They wanted more of like a homey vibe where there wasn't too much hosting, but it was just kind of like, you know, like, hey, you're at my apartment and we're playing. Yeah, exactly. Whereas, you know, people who preferred the Kinky Game Night, it was more of a hosting experience, they were people who were trying to get one, either they were exhibitionists, or they were trying to figure out what they were, or they were cherries, or they were voyeurs. So it was like, that's a different vibe. And I took that component to Dallas, and that's why I think Dallas was as easy as it was, because it was like, you know, you kind of see what works, and you're like, okay, well, let me see if this really works. Only way you can see if that really works is if you could take it to a different market, and it still does the exact same thing, and it is. So I think that would probably like my favorite.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know what? You definitely had a formula. You know what I mean? Like you have a formula where it is, you know, regardless of what each of our favorites are, like you said, it can be replicated in different environments because the formula just works. It is what it is. It's an experience that's necessary. Yeah. You know, so
and
that's
I think
beautiful.
It's important to have that. You have to have a mixture of like intentionality, authenticity, but also structure and formula. Because if you don't, you're just gonna drive yourself crazy. It's still a business at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. So it's great that you were able to find like that equation. Yeah. So as someone, I recently saw this special on Netflix, and it was like, you know, what was it called? Like something about like, you know, making a sex room or whatever. Like how she like makes sex rooms. And it's like this
sex rooms like a dungeon or like what?
Yeah, like
okay.
Yeah, like that's what that's the distinction they gave it, like sex room.
Wait, what show is this?
Oh my God, it just came out.
Like literally, it just came out the other day. I saw it and I watched some of it.
What is it? It's on HBO?
No, it's on Netflix, and I watched a bit of it too. Okay. And like she makes some beautiful rooms. She's like an interior designer lady, and like she makes like
how much
quote cost sex rooms. I mean, you know. Let's just imagine money's no object.
See, I want someone to create a show where they show you how to create a dungeon space on X amount, right? And it's like
I do love DIY. A good like on a budget DIY kind of vibe.
They feel like in those kind of things you gotta know who you gotta know. That's why.
That's what I'm saying. No, people
gotta get on that. No,
that's what I'm saying. It exists, but I'm like,
also it would be beautiful to see that. Like, show me the art, show me the creation, show me the core aspects, but on a budget.
That would go off.
Yeah, straight up. And okay, well, I will say, how about this? That is so true.
Because I feel like you can make one off like 2,000.
No, for sure.
Vita, Kari, Vita.
I know Vita exactly.
Vita would be able to make a room.
I believe it.
$1,000.
I've seen her spaces she curates.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Why? You know what? I truly believe there are people.
Immaculate.
We don't have to go so exponential with the budget anymore. It's really just about the mindset, the vision. It's about the vision and the resource.
This website is cost me $1,500. I said, Mom, don't you ever pay $1,500
for a website?
That's crazy.
First of all, the website should be more than $62.
Yeah,
please.
$62.
Please.
On Fiverr.
Okay.
That's with 2 R's.
That's what you made it with.
And it will look like a $1,500 website.
Well.
Like the time and days of
it's gonna be the exact
gone.
same, if not better.
That's what people don't realize is that, well, the thing is that it is still beneficial to have an actual website, but it depends on the industry that you're in. It just depends. If you have like clothes, you can get away with a Shopify. But if you have other things like podcast or something like that, they would need a landing page at the bare minimum, which is a little bit more website style.
But a website can be way cheaper than.
But
any type of
me
hundreds of dollars.
personally, you're not getting more than $150 out of me. And if I'm paying $150, it's because I got some. I got a
that shit beautiful.
A
it's
membership.
Exquisite. It's gorgeous.
Within.
Let me say, I ain't had to do
bit
nothing.
More complex,
and it was
and I'm
perfect.
Some more money.
And there's a membership, like you said.
Listen, and that's just because the cost of things goes down as it becomes more accessible.
Accessibility,
$1,500. Yeah, it made sense when everything was like you had to create all of the codes yourself and manually, but now people have found a way to basically automate these codes where that's why the value goes down. Now you can get a great website for $80.
But you know what? It's like, wow, that could be like, oh, but like the accessibility is awesome. Just like social media and even, different stuff like that, like creating the access. So more of a spectrum of people can experience this.
Yeah. And I don't think accessibility is a bad thing. It's just to say that two things have to happen with accessibility. Either one, you get innovative, right? Because again, if it's very accessible, it does change the cost of it changes the value.
Right.
Or if you're not innovative, then you create some type of exclusivity where it's like, hey, yes, this can be anywhere, but you can only get these particular blah blah blahs in this particular center. But even then, it could be a hit or miss, because accessibility is
I feel like you're always running the balance in this world of duality of accessibility and like exclusivity.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And exclusivity.
And you do have to have a balance
Yes.
because you don't want to get too capitalistic either.
Exactly.
Capitalism, what is it? For the
Creates
love of money
too
is evil.
much
And I don't
exclusivity.
think money is evil, but I do think that if you are like preying on people for money and doing
if you're only driven by money and
it's a
not
very
passion and not
low-centered
love,
vibration.
so many different things. If you're only driven by money, that's where it can.
where it's like
you got to be driven by some
person.
core, something else.
You got to
and
give
just
value to want value.
Facts.
You got to know where the value is coming
Okay,
from.
so regardless though of budget or dollar amount, what things do you need in your personal sex room? Okay, well, what things do you need in a sex room that's like the sex rooms you create? Because you do technically create sex rooms in your Kinky Game Night experiences.
Okay.
So what do you feel like is necessary in those components? But then also what is necessary in your personal component of just like a sex room? It could be anything from like equipment to like vibes or like rules or like what's your shit,
So at a Kinky Game Night, if I was doing like a playroom, I would say comfortable seating is probably like
important.
That's
Very
like
important.
as bad bitches who be wearing heels. She's like, I would say,
that
comfortable
is step
seating.
one.
Yeah,
No,
because I don't want to
that's
fuck
real.
you
That's
at all
fucking
if my
real.
feet hurt.
When my feet are burning, I can't do
We're
anything.
not-
I
that's
can't
fun.
think about the
You-
comfort of anyone when my comfort
She said, I would say comfortable
maintained.
seating. That's not what I thought, but there was
That's
no
facts.
argument with it.
That actually was a solid
If you
step
got
one.
that
I'm not gonna lie. That is
successful
a
event,
gigantically
okay.
solid step one.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed.
She made sure we had comfortable seating. I'll be back.
Outside of that, lighting is very important.
Yes.
Lighting communicates to the brain.
Yes.
Outside of seating and lighting, I would say instruments like tools, but I mean that can vary though. Again, it depends
sure.
on your audience,
On
it
the space.
depends on what you're trying to exactly achieve. But the two negotiables would be seating and lighting, and then after that, anything else is kind of
Anything goes if
Yeah.
you got the right
Can
signal
make it
light
work.
there and the right vibe.
Yep.
Okay, so what about your personal?
personal. I do love some good vibrators.
Yes.
I love good vibrators. So
I know that's right.
Yes.
yeah.
I love good vibrators
And good
too.
music.
Man, good.
Yes.
And good
Music.
music. Oh,
Yeah.
music. Music does
Playlist
do the
is
thing.
like
You can transport me
audio.
anywhere with
Yeah,
music.
that's
Close your
important.
eyes and you feel the vibe, you know?
yes. And then
I feel
ideal
that.
partner. Gotta be someone that I'm crazy about. Like
Of
they
course.
gotta have that.
Crazy. You'll see it.
Libra romance.
Yes, you know what?
You
I
know,
feel like
also
a
it's just
deep
like you gotta, however, no matter what the connection is, you do have to be able to feel like free in that space, right?
connection.
You know,
Perfect.
so if that's somebody you're crazy about, or if it's just somebody who makes you feel crazy comfortable, or whatever it is, I could say
Either
that
way.
that is like a number one that would
Yeah.
have to be in my space.
Yeah, the connection has
especially
to
if
be
it's
there.
like
Whatever type of connection,
someone
it has to be
experienced
there,
it with
though.
me. Yes, the connection has to be there. It can look different. It can be whatever, but you gotta feel that electric,
Facts.
that
Yeah.
electricity.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say I feel that like I feel you on the event setting, points as far as like, needing lighting and needing like certain, things as
Yeah.
far as those vibes. But I definitely feel you on the personal component as well, and just like I said, needing someone who fits that vibe if they're gonna be experiencing
Yeah,
it
they
in my
compliment
space.
you.
But I would say lighting is mad important for me.
Mm-hmm.
Lighting is important.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of sex-based spaces that I've enjoyed have red.
I like a combination of red and blue. It gives like this kind of pink purple tint.
Red and blue is actually perfect. I feel like that. I feel like it
Yeah.
cools off some of the red intensity. Is the blue.
And also too, I'm just like sometimes red just kind of feels like the go-to, and it's like
little on the nose.
There's so many.
Mhm.
There are so many places you can go with that. Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's so many places you can go with colors. It's really just a vibe. It's not like you need that. But I've enjoyed red lighting.
No.
And when you were saying the
you can't
importance
go
of
wrong
lighting,
with
regardless
red
of the
lighting.
colors, it's more like tapping into the vibe, whatever it is for that that thing.
Yeah.
So I would say lighting is important. I would say the right equipment is definitely important.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of equipment. What's one thing you would say maybe you don't want in your sex room?
Odor.
Good answer.
That's
Immediately.
I'm not gonna lie,
Immediately.
you're right. No
Immediately.
odors. No odors. What's one thing you would want in your sex room or need in your sex room, Trinity? And what's one thing you would not like? Just it's cool.
It's cool.
I'm gonna stick to vibrators because they're my favorite thing ever. So
You can't go wrong.
immediately.
Not gonna lie, I'm team a good vibrator. What's something you don't want in yours?
Cold.
Oh yeah.
Cold.
Temperature.
No cold or no odor.
Temperature plays.
Okay, I'm
a
not gonna
huge
lie,
part.
guys. I was actually, for me personally, I feel like I was kind of thinking more along the lines of equipment, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't want anything. I wouldn't want it to be too cold. Definitely don't want any odors. So I'm all in agreement.
No odors.
These were all great takes, guys. Great. I'm like
Right.
more
What about
good
you,
scent.
Mary?
I was actually more thinking about like a piece of equipment.
Yeah,
And let
so
me
what
say hot
equipment?
take. Okay, first of all, vibrators. I was thinking good vibrators. I'm in. You get
Yes.
anything feels good with a good vibrator. What's up? Okay, like it's cool. I'm team good vibrator. But what I was thinking that I wouldn't want, because I was thinking of vibrators, I was thinking, what equipment wouldn't I want, y'all? Hot take. Nipple clamps, yo.
I've never tried them.
I've tried them, but I've only tried them post having nipple piercings. And let me tell you, boo-boo,
Painful.
I'm like, there's enough going on. I don't even know.
Oof.
And I actually love like good
I
hard
don't like
pinches.
no type of pain.
Yeah, it's
so.
pretty painful.
I like good hard
Painful.
like pinches. I like tugs. I like good nipple raw, right? But the nipple clamps
Very
for
painful.
sure with the
Sensual
piercings.
with me. Keep it
too
very
much.
sensual.
I'm like, keep it out.
Pain level 1.
Nipple clamps are out of there. So that's for me. That's mine. But I'm all about lighting, good music, vibes. I like good paddles with the sting and the thud.
Yes.
That's my sex room.
See, I feel like because my pain level is baby status, babies might actually be able to. Let's keep babies out of this conversation.
She said babies might actually.
Hilarious.
I will actually keep babies out
No,
of this
we're not
conversation.
even talking about
Inappropriate.
babies. Okay,
So,
babies.
but yes, I don't like pain. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when you talking about instruments, I was like, it's not gonna be much instruments in my personal to begin with.
Okay, but vibrators are a definite.
Because it's pure pleasure.
I'm team pure pleasure. Okay.
You know?
All right. Well, we're so glad to talk to you today.
Yes.
Siren, KG.
The beautiful, the amazing.
Yes, great things coming from this
you,
beautiful
my-
Siren. It's gonna be lit. So thank you guys for tuning in to Safari Talk.
Thank you so much.
More hot shit, hot topis, and amazing goodness coming soon.
An amazing
Ew.
guest.
An amazing guest. Thank you, baby. Cheers.
Yes.
Imaginary toast.
Toast,
Yeah.
bitch. And we toasted.